You can have the most prettiest, well thought out birth plan in the entire world. But if you can't speak up in the moment, it might as well be invisible. Hey girl, hey, it's your birth bestie, Nurse Rini, and I am back with another video chat for you. Come on in, birth besties. It is time to dive deep and talk about things that we see that can make things go left for you in labor, but we are going to fix that today so that everything can go right for you in labor. By the end of this video, you will know 3 sneaky ways that you may be unknowingly sabotaging your own birth experience and exactly what to do instead so that you feel confident and in control. There is a lot happening when you are in labor, and I think it's only something that can be explained if you've experienced it or you've been present for it. You're contracting, your body is physically working against your will sometimes, right? Because if you're not ready, you're like, I'm not ready, I can't do this. And your body's like, no, we're doing this. The train has left the station, honey. And so you're contracting, you're trying to breathe rhythmically, you are trying to navigate the feeling of the contractions, some pelvic pressure. All of these things are happening at once. They may be doing a cervical exam on you, so they're digging for gold to get to the cervix. There's just a lot going on. And in the midst of all of this, and at one of the most vulnerable times, you have been asked a very serious question that needs an immediate answer. This is not the time for you to start trying to figure out how to navigate these conversations. This kind of prep should happen before you even enter the hospital. You know, I've seen this time and time again, and it's usually around something like breaking your water or starting in a labor augmentation with Pitocin. And you don't want to leave the experience feeling that you should have or could have done more. You want to be able to address things that aren't urgent nor emergent in real time and have those conversations with your doctor, but understanding that you are in a vulnerable position and you are conversing with someone who is medically trained, has years of education and years of practice, and it's like you don't know how to engage in that conversation. So we are going to encourage you here to have those tough conversations. It can look something like this. The doctor or midwife can come to you and say, hey, I'd like to go ahead and break your water if your cervix has not changed with the next exam. And your response back could be, okay, great. Can you explain the risk and the benefits of that to me? It's as simple as that. Engage in the conversation so that you feel like you're making an informed decision. I know someone who's pregnant, and I said, girl, are you nervous? Are you excited? What are you feeling? And she was like, yeah, you just don't know what you don't know. Oh, you can know what you don't know. There's a way to get the information that you need so that you can make the best decisions possible for yourself. And this can be done barring there's no emergency happening at that moment. Also, when you are faced with making a tough decision, it's okay to ask. My partner and I have some time to discuss this with each other alone, because they may stand there and stare at you, right? They may not get the social cues and leave the room. So that's where you come in, and you have to be very strong and make it seem very normal and like, how rude of you to stand here and stare at me while we have this private conversation. So you have to be able to say, okay, what are the risks and benefits? Okay, great. Can you give us a few moments to further discuss this between the two of us? And there you go. It's as simple as that. If you're new here, my name is Rini. I am a labor and delivery level 3 NICU, postpartum, antepartum fertility nurse. And I also did a stint in the U.S. Army Nurse Corps. If you stick with me, you'll know all you need to know going into childbirth. Speaking of having those very important conversations with your support person or your partner, this leads us directly into the second way that women sabotage their births without even realizing it. And that's ignoring the role of your support person as a team member while in the labor rooms. Your birth is like a team sport, and having the wrong players in the room can really make or break your experience. And I actually have a whole book about this. It's not that long, but it's like a workbook. But it's also available as an ebook, and you can go ahead and download that from my website, and I may link it. It's called How to Build Your Birth Dream Team, because it really does make a difference. You don't want to go into labor with people who aren't supportive around you, and that includes your nurse, that includes your provider, your doctor or midwife, and again, your partner or support persons. Make sure everyone knows that they are a pivotal part of the birthing team. And I always remind my partners when we have classes that insert yourself, because sometimes, not on purpose, we will just dialogue between nurse, doctor, and patient and leave the partner smooth out. But it's okay for you to get up and go stand by the head of the bed. And while they're having this conversation with your partner, you can also jump in and ask questions and give voice to the conversation. It's super important. It's the difference between seeing someone as, oh, they don't have any support, versus someone having support. Oh, she has her husband with her or her partner with her, things like that. And so you definitely want the team to see you as a unit. And you are. You were a participator in this event. to get us here, right? But consider, if you have never had a baby before, then your partner or support person may not know how to best support you. They may have never been in this situation before. And so it's going to be up to you two to prepare for this moment in a way that looks good for you and your relationship. I'm going to tell you. Y'all, I always have a good story for you. I mean, I've been doing this for years, so I always have a story. And I have seen dads come into the labor room, flick the channel on to ESPN and settle in and, just really be absent. Like, you might as well not be here type of thing. And I'm always looking like, sis, we okay with this? Are we okay with this? I think it's partially because they feel like, their presence is good enough, but presence is not good enough. You are a team mate, and so you should participate as such. So definitely don't let that be your partner. There are so many different things they can do to support you during birth. They can help you reposition. They can help you, once you've been cleared to go to the bathroom, they can help you to the bathroom. They can help you with rhythmic breathing. They can help just support you with feeding you ice chips or putting a cold cloth on your head or on the nape of your neck when you're pushing. They can hold a leg when you're pushing. There's just so many things that they can do to support you. Sometimes if you don't involve them willingly, they may just not take that initiative because they don't want to get in the way. So a great fix to this would be to involve your partner or support person in literally everything. If you're taking a childbirth education class, then bring them to that. Explain to them what your preferences are and what they mean to you and why they are necessary, so that in the event that you need to be advocated for, they can advocate on your behalf. And then give them permission to speak up if and when you can't, right? If you're breathing and your contractions are really hitting and you're just not in a headspace to make decisions, then they may already know what your wishes are. And that's great. They can communicate on your behalf. So there's definitely room and necessity in having a support person and or a partner there with you. You can't hand someone the handbook and expect them to win the game. You have to walk them through the plays first, and that will ensure a great and successful outcome. So friend, I know this is going to not feel great when I say this, but showing up to childbirth without a childbirth education class is like showing up to a marathon without having heard anything about how many miles it is, right? You're just showing up. You're just happy to be there. You're just happy to be there, right? But that doesn't have to be your story. I'm so passionate about this one. TikTok and Instagram are great for highlight reels and tips, but they are just that, highlight reels. And I have seen a fair share of people on Instagram whose initials I know nothing about. So you really have to kind of take things with a grain of salt until you know what someone's credibility is, their experience is, and so on and so forth. People will speak to you like they have a century's worth of experience, and meanwhile, they've never had any experience in the field to begin with. So you just definitely have to be mindful. Listening to laymen on TikTok, Instagram, Reddit can leave you in a world of hurt. The information is oftentimes coming from a layperson who has no medical training or clinical training or education, okay? I was fighting in the Reddit streets, and that's not really my style, but I was really upset by this one lady who told this woman not to listen to her doctor. And I'm like, ma'am, you are going to have her caught up in a world of hurt listening to you, and you don't even know her. Now, for me, I don't give advice. I guide people, right? Like I give you the information and I say, hey, maybe you can ask your doctor more questions about X, Y, and Z and see if that sits better with you as a result. But this one, y'all, it's on my page. You guys can go watch the video about it, but I kind of, spaz out a little bit. But it was necessary because I don't like mom shaming. I don't like making people feel bad for their decisions or for going along with whatever their provider or midwife or doctor is recommending. One of the other things that I do often encounter with women online is saying, oh, I don't need childbirth education from X, Y, or Z because I'm having a home birth or I'm going to a birth center. Let me let you know that I have taken care of and delivered patients who were scheduled to have home births and who were at a birth center who had to transition to the hospital. So you definitely don't want to just learn one thing, okay? Because at the end of the road is the hospital. No matter what kind of birth you're having, if there is anything that goes unplanned or becomes urgent, the end of the road is the hospital. So you always want to have hospital-based information in the back of your mind because that would be where you would go for any kind of recovery or assistance. People in the hospital who are in labor and delivery end up in emergency C-sections, or they end up in other critical situations. And I'm not saying that to scare you. What I am saying is that you want to have the foresight to be educated about a hospital birth because, again, that could be the end of the road for your labor and delivery story. And that doesn't have to be looked at as a negative. And we talk about how to change your mindset and how not to be so rigid with your birth plan in our previous video. So definitely go check it out. I really am thirsty, actually. All right, besties, this is it for this video. If you found it informative, definitely make sure you like, share, and follow. I want all of the girlies to see this. I'm your birth bestie. I'm always going to keep it real. I know it's not going to always be super light and fluffy. I'm sorry, but you know, I want to prepare you. I want you to feel informed and prepared. So the 3 things that we went over today were to not skip practice. Okay, you want to make sure that you practice and role play so that we know how we're walking into this as a team and we're prepared and practice in our respective roles. Again, prep your team and get real education. You guys, birth is not easy, but I will tell you, with following these 3 steps, you will have a better experience overall. The reality of the situation is this: you can't control everything, and we certainly can't control the babies while they're inside. But you can control how well prepared you are. If you want the full hospital game plan, definitely go to my website. I have a free webinar and a ton of other free resources. When I become unlazy, I will start putting some things in the description below. But until then, just go to my website, guys. And I will leave that in the description below. Or it's on my About Me page. If this video helped you, please hit subscribe. And I will see you in our 3rd and final video in this series. Bye, ladies.
Now where do we go from here? Tell me